Welcome back to the Three Wanks FPL podcast. As always, I'm your host, Luke Bluff FPL, joined by FPL Mack, FPL Vibes FC, Mack and Sharpe. We're here to talk just an electric game week, as always. Sharpe has made his way back into the 5-digit ranks. Mack, you've been hanging on, having some pretty solid weeks, week on week, and I'm in the same spot as always. How are you guys doing?
Dude, ended the week high. Had a lot of my players on the back half of the week, so got to view it as a comeback story a little bit, which was kind of fun. So vibes are running high, and see if we can turn it into something in this game week.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. A little bit on the opposite side of Sharpe's comeback because my team was very front loaded. Like I opened the morning with Bowen getting a 14-pointer, and I was like, "This is the best." I had a ridiculously high rank, but was all too aware all weekend of the fact that Sharpe had most of his players playing Sunday.
The threats were coming.
Yeah, and unfortunately they came. Not in the way I expected, though, realistically. The one that hurt me the most was the Gahe unexpected 14-pointer because I own him and he was benched. So that sucked. But
absolutely hilarious that we spent like 10 minutes last week on the pod debating between who was more likely to score between O'Reilly and Gahe, and the answer was both. And not only both in rapid succession.
Yeah, like within a couple of minutes of each other. So apparently we're
also, like we've said this, as soon as I get rid of a defender, they score. Like that is the recipe, and it's to a T every week. So
yeah, I'm not sure what you did last week or what contract you signed with who or last year, to get such a good rank, but it's clearly come and do this year.
Yeah,
100%. But yeah, no, I feel despite the kind of like unfortunate end to the weekend, I still rose 70k ranks, so I'm actually very happy.
Yep. The ranks are as follows. Believe it or not, on a wild card, I took a red. Who's surprised? Not me. But things are kind of staying the same up front. On the mini perspective, pretty much a flat line. Not a lot has changed from your two's perspective, and I'm getting worse. So
I like how you now just refer to the two of us as a flat line. Like yours was irrelevant.
The season's done. It's a wrap. I'm gonna be straight. I cannot wait for the season to be over. It's just misery every single week, but it is what it is.
If I started Gahe, I'd be 20 points behind you. That's so doable.
Yeah, it would have been. I don't know. We can cover that in a minute, but
yeah. You can make fun of me.
No, let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. He's third on your bench.
I don't think there's fucking hindsight. Like, yeah, go ahead.
Well, to be fair, you had a very high scoring back line. So
yeah, I feel like this was not. You're telling me Arsenal is the dog here, the best defense in the league?
No, I'm not saying that. I would have started him over Alderete personally, but I get it.
But Alderete had an 8-pointer. I was like, he did what he was supposed to do. I had such little faith in Tottenham. I think the worst part about this is you're not wrong. I have no faith in Chelsea, and I, in hindsight, don't know why I thought they would score.
I mean, they're like the best attack in the league on XG, I think. So I don't think that's a crazy thought.
Is that cumulative or is that before?
I think that's true. I'll look. Keep talking, and I'll look.
I'd be curious to know the split now that.
From Rossignol? Yeah, that I don't know.
Well, you would have to almost look after those first couple games he was in because they were playing such shit teams those first few weeks where they actually looked good.
The new manager bounce.
True.
Yeah. But I would also sorry, not to interrupt, but on this topic, I would say it was more so how good City is now and how informed they are. Look across their competitions versus how bad Chelsea is.
I don't disagree with any of that. And I'm also super for the City resurgence. I just thought that of the teams playing, City were playing the best one of them, and the main way that Gahe was going to score was a clean sheet. The goal was unexpected, and that's a huge, huge hit. But I don't know. That was my view. Clearly was wrong. Probably. I'm glad I kept Gahe because I'll probably be playing him a lot in the future. If City have a real shot at winning the league, it sounds like they're fired up.
I mean, I bought him weeks ago thinking that he would score, and he was playing even deeper. So, it's point being, it's a crapshoot when a defender scores. I don't think you can beat yourself up for it.
No, for sure. And I'm happy to own him.
Yeah,
a big part of my strategy at the end of the season is just actually having the guys who still have things to play for.
Threats, yeah.
And City do.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a second? Let's fucking go, City. I can't believe if you had told me a couple of years ago that like this is the exact same as what happened at F1, that I'd be rooting for Man City and Max Verstappen to like make comebacks to win championships, I would have been like, why? What the fuck? What's wrong with me? But God, I'm so happy. And everything is lined up perfectly for a nice City Arsenal matchup this weekend. Electric stuff. We love it.
Dude,
So excited.
This is the quandary I've been having every year that City have won the league, where I've been like, well, they're not Arsenal. Well, Arsenal weren't good for a while, but in recent years, I'm like, well, they're not Arsenal, and that's good. But morally, I don't feel very good about supporting them. But I'm definitely all for them.
Also, I mean, even just for like an entertainment value of having some sort of like making it come down to the wire, even if you're an Arsenal fan, I think it's fun to see it.
On a title race.
Did you say even if you are an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, well,
no,
yeah,
that's
completely correct.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's a fair.
The best thing is for your team is run away with it. Like by game week 10, just say we're not touchable and just keep it going. That would be the ideal situation.
Is that real though? Like, would you rather
100%?
Oh yeah, no.
Like Liverpool last year, I was like, please don't make it close whatsoever. Like, just win every game and forget about it.
I know it's boring, but if the prices of winning the Prem is a little bit of boredom, I'll take that any day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess I did feel good, and I did feel a little bored when Indiana was running the table in football. So no, that tracks.
There you go.
Anyway, continue, Mac. Is there anything more you would like to say here, other than maybe a little pat on the back for the Ekitike to Bowen move? That was so timely with the Achilles injury as well.
No, I feel good about that. Another piece of hindsight bias that unfortunately sucks is the other move I was contemplating was Odango to Rice. And
Odango.
Well, I mean, it's just
Rio.
Dango hasn't looked good. I did get a goal out of him, but I have no reason to transfer him.
They had a good matchup. Like I think it was worth keeping him. I do like. I know this is going to sound hindsighty, but I do think. It's tough with their matchup as well. But the one that kind of would have made sense as a transfer out would be Mbumo, just because his minutes were already under threat coming into this weekend. But still, wasn't expected that he wouldn't start with a team that's not involved in Europe or anything like that. Like you'd still expect him to start. But.
Yeah, that definitely was the surprise. Like I'm like, whoa, why are they? It's not. He's been good for them too. So I don't really understand that one. Maybe it was just a planned rest. Like maybe they just thought that they'd crush Leeds because Leeds are bad away. Like I thought they would crush Leeds. And yeah, that was unexpected. That being said, the reason I still have him is because I'm not free hitting in 34 and he is a player who's playing because I have a decent bit of Arsenal and City players. Yeah. So
I truthfully think it's just that Sesko has been that hot and Bumo has been kind of cold that they were like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And
but
to your point, this is probably the game to do it because they're playing. They thought they had a win in the bag, but hello.
Right. So, I don't know. Fine week. Like, not a lot to report. Good score.
Yeah. I think that was just the whole surprise of the weekend. In my book, is that Leeds performed the way they did, or more so United performed the way they did. And it was top to bottom. Like, it was gross. But I would have to say Bumo probably was a little planned. I mean, look at the whole team that they started. They had some guys you would look at as like regulars, not necessarily in there to start. So I agree with you. I think holding him on 34 is probably the right call, and hopefully he could do something for you.
Because they're playing Chelsea next week. They're not in Europe. I don't know if they're. That's the only weird part. I would have expected him to start after almost like a 3-week break.
That part's fair, but I feel like last week I would have said it. Bumo is a player to transfer out. And I'm not saying you should have necessarily done it last week. I'm just saying I do think now it feels pretty clear. I would get rid of him if I were you. I don't know what your plans are. Obviously you have I think you're planning on free hitting this week. And so you have a little bit of flexibility in that sense, but I think eventually he's
I'm not going to get rid of him right now. I'm going to free hit this week and then I have to use him to navigate the blank game week the following week. I potentially will get rid of him the following week. What does that make it? 35?
Yeah.
At which point I'm also probably planning on bringing back Holland because I'll free hit into Holland this week, skip Holland for the blank, and then use Mbumo as a cash cow the following week. So unfortunately, I think Mbumo is in my plan. This isn't a time where I'm going to be making a lot of transfers because I'm going to use some chips. But
don't you have a full starting 11 without making any transfers in 34? Because you just have the City and the Arsenal guys, right? So that's 4. My only thought being
play either.
Oh, right. Okay. But the only reason I say that is like, as much as you're like, oh, you can navigate him with the blank. Who's to say this doesn't happen again? Like, who's to say he doesn't come off the bench for 20 minutes? In which case, you'd rather, make if you have 2 transfers. Anyway, just something worth thinking about.
Nope. I genuinely hadn't considered that. This is why.
But it's not.
That's good.
Yeah. But it's not. That's a later problem. The free hit puts that off. You don't need.
Yeah. So either way, I'm not doing anything with him. This week.
For sure. All right, let's do it. The wild card went excellent. So good. The template was Van Heck and Verbruggen. Turned out to be right because, of course, they cleaned. Senesi, Gabriel both hit DEFCONs. Cool. Bruno got an assist. Cool.
Hinchel I don't want to have told you so, but I told you to bring in Alex fucking Scott last week.
For sure.
Wait, also Gabriel didn't DEFCON. Gabriel got a...
Oh, he got an assist. You're right. You're right.
Because...
yep. Yeah, you know what? We can just end it there. This is a disgusting squad. It's horrible. The only player that did actually return subsequently got a hamstring injury, and now means that it fucked my bench boost. So we're in an excellent spot. What else is new? If it wasn't for the podcast, I probably would be just deleting this app off my phone. We're so done. But moving right along to Sharpe, having an excellent season.
Yeah, this was overall a pretty solid week. I would like to point out that you wanted me to play João Pedro and bench Gehi. I believe that's what you told me before the game week, so glad I don't listen to you.
Did I say Gehi?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said I didn't want to play JP against City, or I didn't want to play.
No, I didn't say bench Gehi. Hang on, I'll find it.
You look for it. That's fair. No, I was pretty happy this week. I mean, Casemiro is the big one, other than what we've already talked about. So Casemiro, putting that in, 7 goals so far off of set pieces this year, most in the league. That's pretty sick. Guy can put the ball in the net, mostly I think because Bruno can put the ball where he wants to put it. So that's nice. I will say I am a little overall peeved at the fact that I believe it was 6 points away based off of 3 stupid things. 1, Bruno got taken off of 1 bonus point by 1 fake metric point thing that they used to judge. So that sucked because that would have been 2 points. Gabriel, the reason I knew it was an assist was because he was 1 DEFCON away. And then Rogers was also 1 DEFCON away from hitting DEFCONs. So that was overall just annoying. But pretty happy with the week. Obviously, Green Arrow back into the 5 digits and plan to free hit this week and probably wildcard 35 into a bench boost 36 and ride out the season, hopefully on some Green Arrows.
It's pretty comprehensive. I'm annoyed Rogers returned, but man, I'm just living right now. I get to say I told you so on that one too. It's like the greatest. But also, how about our boy Anderson? It is nice to be on the team. That's what I want to say.
Dude, 4 floor, baby. You know you're gonna get
4 floor. DEFCON King. Hate him until I got him. Now I love him.
No, for real. You've been calling it though. You've been on it ever since your wild card. Essentially, you kind of locked back in, as you said, and you've made some good shouts.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like a little afraid. The big thing is that I've already wild carded, right? So if I survive this week, because presumably most people are playing their bench boost, then I think I'm like good. I think I can navigate the rest of the season and have a respectable score. If the bench boost is insane, I might drop like hundreds of Ks.
Dude, I'm gonna be right there with you. We're in this boat together.
So I mean, I'll have a free hit, so I should be able to cover off most of it. So I guess it's just a question of how good is the bench boost, right?
Y'all forgot about the most important variable. I'm bench boosting.
So, we're safe.
Yeah, we're fine.
Oh, we're good.
There's going to be insane rotation across every team that doubles this week. It's going to be awesome.
Speaking of the bench boost. So obviously this is a weird week to even look at this because it's just topped by all the teams that are in the double game week.
Yeah.
The only single game week teams that look good from a goals perspective or look better than a double game week team are Forest and Newcastle, because Forest is playing Burnley, Newcastle playing Bournemouth, and then Villa plays Sunderland and Forest again play Burnley. So they're up there from the clean sheet side of things. Both of you guys are ripping the free hit. I'm obviously going to do the bench boosts. I have a little bit, I guess really my only thing is to sort out who I take O'Reilly to. And to be honest with you, who cares? But yeah, that's kind of the situation for this week. And unfortunately that means that things are relatively template, right? with what you would pick this week in a free hit, the transfers that you would make, anything like that. I don't feel like there's a ton to talk about in that area, but Sharpe, I know you put together a free hit, so we can maybe take a look at that and start going through some of the picks, unless y'all have something you want to say on this.
No, I think it's sad if you're a Burnley fan that you have a double game week and you're projected under 2 goals. Like that's just gotta hurt. But I hope you enjoyed the Prem.
See you in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Same with Tottenham, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a rough time.
I think the City thing is interesting. We know that how good they are and how informed they are. So I'm not saying it's surprising they're at the top of both these lists, but I think we're attaching a lot to their attack. I think the players that most people are looking at are going to be Cherky, Holland, Semenyo, Gahey, and it was O'Reilly. Now not O'Reilly, but a lot of those obviously are the attack. Whereas like if you have that high of a chance of clean sheets, like do you just go for like is that a thing that you do? Is look at the defense and go 2 back there? O'Reilly might have ruined that thought
that's your
process.
conclusion because I'm having almost the opposite thought.
Really?
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe we should load up the attack instead. But
would you go? So you think you would go like all 3 Semenyo, Cherky, Holland?
So I haven't thought it out. I'd be interested in like looking at this when we bring up the wild card thing to like see what the possibilities are. But right before the pod, we were talking like about just how much money is left in the bank in basically any free hit squad because all of the players that we're bringing in are so cheap. And so I was just trying to think about ways to spend that money on like more advantageous assets. Like who are the best guys that I can get, which everyone's obviously trying to do on a wild card or a free hit or a bench boost. But, you know, like because I'm free hitting, these players don't matter to me for more than a week. I don't need to put really any money on my bench, barring a couple of guys who are solid for rotation and they can be cheap. Because we've already discussed how cheap the assets are. So I was like, well, maybe City is the place because the main problem with City is always like there's goals, but we don't know from who. And so if I could just get all 3 options, and it's like Semenyo, Cherky, and Holland, like, and they're in form, hopefully one of them scores over the course of 6 games.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I understand where you're coming from for sure. If there's 4.5 goals to go around, like,
yeah,
that's going to be nice. They're going to be involved, and certainly plenty of them. However, Gahey just put up a 15-pointer, and
I know.
Is a DEFCON guy, so therefore you're looking at 4 each game pretty much. You're up to 8 on the weekend.
Wait, he's not a DEFCON guy. We talked about this last week.
Yeah, I feel like we've established he's not a DEFCON guy.
Yeah.
He's a DEFCON guy in my book.
When was the last time you got DEFCONs?
Yeah, we're about to go look. This could be bad for me. Wow, no, he really doesn't. Jesus Christ.
I feel like we had this discussion like last week.
Luke, does it kill you when I say stupid shit like that?
No.
Okay. All right, cool.
But let's go look at the form table. Let's build a free hit team. We're good.
All right, perfect. I can do that.
Yeah, speaking of which, here it is.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so Mack, to your point on the spending money with this team, I didn't do anything with Bruno and Gabriel because they're 2 of the best players, even if they're a single game week, and I don't need money, so it doesn't matter. I have 5.7 in the bank with this team, so I could go anywhere I could possibly want to go. And I honestly don't even want the 2 guys that are the most expensive in this team. Like, I'm not that confident in Holland and Palmer. They're just there because the teams that are doubling this week are not teams that have expensive guys on them. Between Bournemouth, Leeds, Brighton, like those aren't guys that are going to be expensive in general.
No, so this is like
agree.
It's an unnecessary risk as well to go without those guys. You know what I mean? Because like as much as they're not performing to the level of their price, out of this line, this is a classic going to bite me in the ass, but out of this lineup, those are like the 2 players that could have multi-goal games. You know what I mean? They've proven many a time that that's something they can do. So even if it's, you know, a luck box, like the Palmer to João Pedro, like penalty stuff that was going on a few weeks ago, if that happens again, even though you made the right call of like Palmer's not in form, that absolutely destroys your rank, and there's just no reason to go against it. Like, I think there are some differentials you can make in this team, but I don't think those are it.
What you're saying is very smart, but it hurts my soul to pick guys that I don't believe in because
I mean, have fun. It's a game. Like, go for it. Yeah, but like genuinely,
it's more than a game. This is why you're ranked the way it is. No. But I fucking don't like Chelsea at all this year. Like the way they've been playing, I was an idiot last week for starting Gahey, but every time I take them out of my squad, they get a hat trick and it drops me 100.
No, but I think this is this like ultimately heard, and I would agree with you if it wasn't that you're free hitting, right? In a double game week when you have a really limited number of options. Like it's the same as me wildcarding last week. When we were putting it together, we were all talking about how we were like, this team sucks. I hate this team. But there's not really, unfortunately, I kind of wish that this just in general, the Prem would stop having doubles. And I think that's kind of their goal, and they've reduced it a little bit. But I just, for the game perspective alone, it makes this stuff just kind of silly. Where you're sitting here being like,
agree.
I can't go for anyone else.
I didn't realize how much I liked the first half of the season when we had chips but no doubles until we got to the second half of the season. And then I'm like, holy shit, this is so formulaic. Like, and I don't know if that's because it's at the end of the season and there's just like, we kind of know what's going on. Part of the joy of the front of the season is that you don't know who's good yet.
Yeah.
But by 32 game weeks, you might want to have it figured out. But like, yeah, I don't know. You guys get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm like open to the alternatives. I think you said this before we came on, I think Sharpe, right? But you were talking about like, what if you did an alternative here where you got rid of Haaland and brought in Semenyo instead, and brought in like a Calvert-Lewin in place of Aronson? I don't think that's like a terrible play by any means. It's more so just, the point I made earlier of you're taking on a huge amount of risk. And in like Semenyo's case, I don't know. I could see that going both ways. At this point, they both have like somewhat similar threat, which is kind of crazy to say considering how incredible Haaland was at the beginning of the year. But even this past week, he had 0.6 XG. He had 4 shots, I think.
Yeah, that was going to be my thing. Like, I would say over the course of like when Mack dropped him and not having Haaland, I think it made a lot of sense. I think he didn't look in form. There could have been a lot of rotation.
I didn't get punished for that once, by the way. That's wild.
It is wild. And that's what I think is still prompting that thought process. But I think over the past couple, as City has been in form, Haaland looks more in form. So even though he hasn't capitalized on it, 0.6 XG, saying it was more likely than not, he probably should have. He had the shots. He looked central, and he looked like he wanted to be a threat this past week. So I am scared to do it. It's just like they're also playing Burnley. So like, come on.
So in the City versus Chelsea game, Haaland led the XG in the game with 0.58, according to FootMob. It's 6 touches in the opposition box. Actually, Jeremy Doku had 13, which was the most, but he only had 0.2 XG. So Haaland, like to your point, Haaland is putting up the numbers. You absolutely, I think, need to have him, and budget's not an issue, right?
Yeah,
Budget's
right.
Not an issue, not at all. No.
So
I think
no brainer there.
Where I'm super curious, I truly think I am locked in on Haaland and Gahey, as fun as it would be to go away from Haaland just to do something stupid. I think it's Cherky or Semenyo are the two in between. And as a form table, Cherky doesn't look that good because it's only been the last Prim games and there's been such a gap in the Prim games. But last week looked great, and I believe he's looked pretty good in the other competitions. But do you guys think who would you guys go? Cherky or Semenyo, I guess?
Let me hit you with an alternative. What about double defense? Like, would you consider going like a Donnarumma or something? I just say that because you've got Own Goal FC and Burnley. Like, that screams double clean sheet. And, from an attacking perspective, they're playing both the best team in the league and the worst team in the league. So I think you could make the argument either way, but I do feel like if I was betting on City to score 4 or more goals or like more than 4 goals in the weekend, or to keep 2 clean sheets, I would probably bet on the clean sheets. It's not as high of upside probably because Gahey, like we said, Gahey doesn't DEFCON. Sure, he could put a goal in, but that's unlikely. So you're really betting on like 12 points, Gahey and Donnarumma or whoever. But
I don't hate it if I'm looking at it as its own thing. I think that's exactly what I was just saying as we looked at what you had pulled up before. I'm aligned. I see where you're going. If O'Reilly was there, I genuinely think I would be going O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Without him, I don't know if there's someone of that level that I could need out of that back line. And I don't want to go goalie. I only say that because the Bug's been my boy. I got trust in him. I feel pretty good about how Brighton's been playing. So I'm gonna let him ride. But
I hate this season.
the other The other part of that is if you go back to the free hit, it's that I honestly do have some confidence in Van Heck to get me an okay amount of points there with Tottenham and the way that he plays. Bijol, I think you could insert Leeds defender there that you might have any sort of faith in. The reason that I have him back there is because he's actually a DEFCON guy. Fun fact, I did check other people before I put them in my team. Apparently, I just don't look at Gahey. But he actually is a DEFCON guy, and he's playing Wolves, and Bournemouth is going to give him DEFCONs, I would assume, with how much they are move the ball forward. So, like, to me, I feel like my defense is strong. Like, my midfield looks like a bunch of shit right now. Like, there's nothing to do there. So I feel like if I have Cherki or Semenyo, it's at least filling that position.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't disagree.
What about Nunes? Like, you're saying there's not somebody who fits the O'Reilly bill, and that's probably by definition true. But yeah, maybe I'm just at this point trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. But outside back, has some attacking threat, has 4 goals and an assist 4 assists and a goal, I believe, on the season. Could be a shout, but no, I think you're right. Like at that point, what are we talking about? You're trying to get 2 offensive threats from City. They're probably the best attack right now. So, yeah, probably overthinking it, but it's worth the conversation for sure. Or like we're worth looking at it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you guys have said. So, just from like a visual perspective, I tried to whip up on the side here, little devil's advocate free hit team, and it blows. Like there's nothing remotely like enticing about it, I don't think. As we've established, like we agree on 70% of the players just by nature of who's playing. Like Van Hecky, Holland, some combination. Sorry.
I never know what's gonna come out of your mouth when a player comes on the screen.
Yeah,
Van Hecky is crazy.
The weird part is I can pronounce these guys, and then I get on here and just forget. I take great pride in like.
No, watch it. Like it's one of those like players pronounce their names, and he's like, "Yeah, Van Hecky." Like you're actually right, and that's the way they say it in fucking Norway or whatever. Wherever.
Dude, it's like it's the linebacker from the Colts last season, Okereke. For his entire career, he was Okereke. That's how every announcer announced him. And then he was like, "Yeah, no, it's actually Okereke." And it's like, "What are you talking about, dude?" Excuse me.
I'm gonna find a video of Van Heck, and I'm actually excited. It's totally gonna be. What's the other one that you were saying all year? A defender. Alderte. That one.
Alderte. I don't know why you guys are throwing stones. Did we get podcast 1 out? We've been calling them Verbuggin all year.
Yeah, dude.
And we have reindeers. What are we doing here?
I would also like to say that this free hit's not possible, but
oh yeah, no, I said, it's not. There's atrocious alternatives.
No. Like he's saying, you have like four Brighton players and 4 Leeds players.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Visually, I was trying to throw in just all of the players you might consider, not build an actual team. I was saying like so if you wanted to just have some players that weren't in Sharpe's free hit team. Dropped JP for Calvert-Lewin. Like you could double up theoretically if you wanted on a Bournemouth mid because they maybe have some of the better attacking threat and very inconsistent defense. So that's maybe something I would look to do to differentiate. Similarly, when I look at like the really shitty defenses that you're going to be forced to pick from this week, like there is an argument to maybe double up on like a Brighton defense, but I still think I'm playing 3 at the back most. And I'm just going to go 1-1-1. So probably wouldn't do that. And then the goalies really are self-explanatory. So it's like everyone's gonna have the same team this week. It's gonna be the same free hit for everybody.
Well, let's talk through. Let's go back to. I'm gonna pull up Sharps again, and let's talk through a couple alternatives because I do think like for Welbeck, the best fixture. Don't doubt his attacking threat, but the best fixture is gone in Burnley, right? And so he's somebody I included in my wild card, and that was a big motivation was that they had Burnley this week. Obviously, that didn't pan out. Brighton didn't score a shit ton of goals. It does maybe start to tilt the scale in the Calvert-Lewin favor. Looking from now on, Leeds have the best fixtures in the league for the remainder of the season. So he is definitely somebody. Oh wait, this is a free hit. What are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but still, I think Wolves and Bournemouth he's just as good as an option as Welbeck probably. So it's worth the debate of
the thing is,
which one do you like better.
I don't think that's true. Like even as like looking at him as a differential pick. He hasn't gotten more than 2 points since game week 25.
Right. This is what we
Like,
looked at last week.
Yeah, it's atrocious. Like, I know at least Welbeck's been near the scoreboard.
The flip side of it, though, is
Better defense.
bringing in DCL means that you could bring in a second Brighton defender, and then you could have triple Brighton defense if you really wanted to. Again, just saying this to say it, really. But
I think if anything, I would probably have looked mid if I was going to do that, like find a Brighton mid in there, although they're all ass too. So I don't know if I would do that.
Hey, my guy scored 3 points.
You're right. Wait, who is?
I got Hinchelwood.
Yeah, no, I know that's who you had. My thing is, sorry. Fuck, I completely lost my train of thought. But I think the point is, I don't think DCL is actually. I got it back. DCL, I don't think is going to be that big of a differential when you look at him. I think he's going to be probably the third guy a lot of people do go to. Just I'm basing it off of Twitter, honestly, and what I've seen out there. I see a decent amount of DCL, and I just yeah, exactly. I learned from the best. I think that Leeds has more. It's going to be more spread out across who it could come from. Like Okafor last week putting 2 in. Like I don't know if it has to be DCL. So I think you could make the same argument for Brighton. I understand that, but I think Ericsson's a little more central, and I think he has some defense and assist threat like throughout. So that's where I think like that's more important to have him versus a Brighton mid, I guess.
Yeah. No, I like the team a lot. I think you mentioned it, Mac, but another one to talk about is Scott versus Tavernier. I don't think, again, we're nitpicking the tiny things at this point. Like if you have a big difference in the way those two guys score, it's probably comes down to a little bit of variance. But what was the thought process on picking a Scott versus a Tavernier and Mac? Are you thinking of the same way?
You're gonna love this. I'll give you my thought just to like start it off.
No, I'll pull up the form table. You don't have to do it.
Scott's Mr. DEFCON.
Yeah.
He's a more consistent DEFCONing mid. Again, a week where we're all like, I'm not excited by really anyone. It's okay, well, that's consistent, a little more consistent of points than hoping he's the guy that scores a goal or gets an assist.
It's a fair point, because if he gets DEFCONs as a mid, and so then maybe even a clean sheet, then he's looking at like potentially 5 points, which is a much better floor than 2.
Yeah.
Do we ever know who is on Bournemouth penalties? Genuinely?
I like it's the same conversation as last week. Like in theory, it's Tavernier, but I genuinely don't think they've had one since Semenyo left. Or no, they did, but it was when Tavernier wasn't on the pitch and Krupi was.
Yeah,
Krupi took it. So I think it's either Tavernier or Krupi, and Krupi is not playing all the minutes, so it's but doesn't really. Yeah, it is again 1 week, 2 games, probably not that big of a difference. If you're thinking about a player for more of the long term, that's when maybe that takes more of a. But I guess you could make the same argument for DEFCONs, because the looking at Scott, like he averages just over 12 DEFCONs. So it isn't like an Anderson where it's borderline guaranteed. It's more of a like 50-50 shot of whether or not he's going to get across that line.
Yeah, but when you look at his DEFCON averages, are you looking at the course of the season or like what?
Yeah, that's all I was looking at.
So what's weird about his DEFCONs is that like if you look at the data, he was getting like single digits for most of the first half of the season.
Sure.
And it's not showing me the game week numbers. Right around game week 17 or 18, his DEFCON numbers like shot up. And in the last couple weeks, he's gone 13, 11, 18, 9, 13, 12, 16, 11. So like,
I mean, but doesn't that kind of like literally in the last 4, he's 2 for 4. So that's 50.
No, that is accurate.
All I was saying is that the average might be dragged down a little bit.
Yeah.
And his DEFCON numbers have gone up.
It's probably relatively.
Also,
likely.
like nobody was considering a Bournemouth asset all season. So I think as a whole, their defensive's just gotten better.
I do think I can't believe I've actually missed Scott for as long as I have, because you called out 17. Fair. He got it in 18. Starting in 21, it looks like, I'm just looking at points. It looks like he did it for 8 game weeks. I don't know how I didn't get him at some point just to have another 4 floor in there, because he was so consistent.
Because Anderson had really good fixtures.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Anderson had Sean Dyche as his coach for a while.
Yeah, fouled.
Yep. Any other holes to poke?
No.
I think a conversation could be Leeds defense. Which one you want to go with?
I think someone's going to poke a hole in their defense. I am a little surprised here. I don't know. I guess the fixtures are better on paper. Wolves and Bournemouth, but
and my boy gets DEFCONs.
Pronounce him. Prove is your boy.
Bijou.
That might be right. I can't fact check you.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping one of you guys would feel super confident about someone that wasn't in here because I don't feel confident about anything. I was like, I'll make any changes this week, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks like Bijol has been a little bit more DEFCON-y recently. Like, I don't know. At this point, it's 1 week. I don't think it makes a huge difference. And of course, it's going to be Bijol that scores the bullet header. So I'd say stick with him.
Once my boy Rodon went down, I lost all interest. So
yeah, so valid. I want what's Aronson's name? The Messi of the something.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it is because they said it during like the World Cup 4 years ago or whatever all the time. He's from New Jersey, so it's like Messi of something.
Yeah. So okay, I think the other conversation to be had is some of the single game week guys that you have on your bench.
The Medford Messi.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
From Medford, New Jersey.
That's so good.
That's so funny. God,
to be honest, that was like one of my biggest reasons for bringing him in. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the vibes. That's the vibes.
Being an American during the World Cup summer, just the worst. But I do think the other conversation here is you've got Bruno and Gabriel on your bench. Would you consider playing either of them over any of these double game weekers? Like maybe one of the weaker guys? I don't know. Take your pick.
With Gabriel playing City, I think that puts him out of commission to me.
Yeah.
I think they're going to score on him, so there goes the clean. Bruno, I could definitely see. I am not a hater, as big of a hater on Chelsea as Mack is, and with how they looked last week, do I think it's very likely that Bruno either gets an assist or a goal in that game? I could totally see that. I just want to take the guys that, again, I think Cherki is certainly going to contribute. Palmer at least has a better chance with 2 games to contribute. And then the other guys are DEFCON guys. So say Bruno does assist or score or whatever and gets up to an 8-pointer, I feel like the guys that I picked have a really good shot of getting 8 points across 2 games as well. So I'm going to leave them on my bench.
I don't hate it. Have you looked at, this is so weird to even say, a Chelsea defender at all?
So I thought about it, honestly, probably last week when we were looking at this. I was like, no.
I mean, Chelsea have been getting spanked since
the
11th of March. Like,
if you were flirting with it this weekend, probably put you off. Like,
so I'm not saying this because I think they have a realistic shot of keeping a clean sheet. But what I was asking was when I was looking at the City Chelsea game, the player at the second highest XG was actually Mark Cucurella. And, you know, the reason I'm usually put off of him is just because he's like 6 mil. You know, and Chelsea haven't been worth that money in a normal team. But over 2 games, is it a punt? Maybe. Like, maybe is it like slightly better than a Leeds defender? Possibly. I don't think I'd go there though. Personally, I've just thrown it out there.
Well, genuinely though, we've seen I'm looking at his games across all competitions. When they have midweeks, he does tend to rest a bit. He's not like Mr. Consistent 90 minutes. So this actually might be a scenario where he tastes a little bit of bad.
For sure.
I think the rest is a great thing to call out just because it's a double game week. I think we avoid it with almost all of these teams because they're not really in Europe or anywhere. I think City is one to call out because I believe they play 3 games in 7 days, 3 games in 9 days. And so that was also kind of playing into the Cherki Semenyo, who's going to be the most likely. Is Haaland going to play both of these games?
Yeah, I'm also a little interested with City just in general. Is I know Cherki is great, but they have Foden, Doku, Cherki, Semenyo.
I mean, Cherki came off at 70 minutes as well. So like you could spin that however you want. Like maybe that makes him more likely to start, or to your point, Mac, he's the first guy on the chopping block for one of those bench players.
He got 2 assists and they took him off. So I don't think that's like the end of the world necessarily. Like it could just be like job's done type thing. Like he came off 76. So basically 80. So basically the game was over. Rounding up a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I am equally weary of City guys either getting subbed off early or not. The only thing that I will say is that they do have a title race that they are trying to win, and they are not in Europe, so there's no midweek. So on one hand, it blows because
they still have to play. Well, they play midweek as a double game week.
Yes.
Right. And then they have to play, granted, their third game is Southampton because somehow they advanced in the FA Cup. So
our hero is Southampton.
Right.
Put some respect on their name.
You're right. You're right. To your point, though, it is likely though that they play in this because they need to win these games, and then they actually rest drinks in the Southampton game because it's
like if I'm thinking about it, does Man City want to beat Arsenal to the Premier League title or win a cup? Probably.
Yeah.
Gonna put the starting lineups up in these two games because they're very winnable.
Okay, so like fun little like thought thing here because I think we're kind of set on players is what happens when they lose to Arsenal. I shouldn't say win because it's more likely that City wins. If City loses to Arsenal, what does that look like then for Burnley?
Fucking cares, dude. I'll off myself at that point.
Honestly, that is a good point though. Like, regardless of how close they are in the title race, they're still playing Burnley. Like, I would expect rotation in the midweek.
That is a good point because, as I said, what would they rather rest? And I think about the 3 games. If Southampton is more likely to win them something and Burnley is just Burnley, then maybe they're gonna rotate during Burnley.
The thing is, though, I was gonna say I don't know if Semenyo is that much more likely for minutes than Cherky, but he probably is. It's just
he's been Mr. Minutes for them.
He has been, but that was with Doku out too.
But Semenyo is not playing on his favorite side, and Doku plays on the other side. So Semenyo is not taking Doku. Like all of the rotations that's been happening has been either in the midfield or like the Doku side. I feel like Semenyo's been scoring. He's been good.
Yeah, I think it kind of helps that when Foden came in, he kind of looked like shit. Like he looked like he really wanted to get something done, but I felt like he was not well. And I just think that's nice to know that I don't think he's going to be the one that's picked.
Yeah, Phil Foden, man. Decent player.
Yeah. I feel like the vibes aren't low. There's just not much to do this.
I feel like we're running out of things to talk about, man. It's just so uninspiring to look at.
Fair enough. I mean, honestly, I think that is fair. That's just I always say this is the worst part of the year, easily. Like, not even close. Worst part of the year. It's not very fun. Like, to your point, you're not finding any hidden gems, and you are forced to go with players that you normally wouldn't. So it is the way it is. I think the rotation point is like something to think about, but I don't know that it drastically makes any of your changes because it's like, trying to pick a Pep lineup in a double game week is as hard as anything else. You think about like a Welbeck, and old man Welbeck could get rested, but then do you really, to your guys' point, like, do you go DCL, who's probably less likely to score? Like, so it's weird.
Brighton needs those games to have a chance at European football next year. So I don't know if I think they're going to be locked and loaded as much as they can be.
So something that happens every year on free hits and bench boosts is that we all end up picking really shitty players. And if a forward in a single game week scores, they get 6 points. And if a forward in a double game week blanks twice, they get less points. And that's what if you like really are looking for some super out there picks, like potentially some of the better matchups against single game weeks could be the way to go. But the other point I was going to make, the more serious one, is that your bench almost doesn't matter when we're free hitting, because if one of these guys gets rested, they're probably not getting rested for both, right?
Right.
And so I don't know. I'm not like, if you're worried about rotation, there's almost nothing you can do about it, because if one of these guys gets rested, you're gonna be like, fuck. But if he plays a minute in the second game, his points are counting towards your team.
Yeah. No, so valid.
All right. Well, I feel like that kind of wraps it up. And I would short and sweet, but yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick, you want to flash do you have your squad for next week? How you're looking? I'm sure it's very similar, but you're not a free hit.
Yeah, it's with your sure. It's basically the same thing. I just have to figure out what to do with O'Reilly and then bench boost.
Yeah, you're still bench boosting, right?
Yeah. Is it not just Gahey then?
Maybe. Who cares? I don't know. Probably.
Okay.
No. For our sakes, don't go Gahey. Nunez.
Yeah. True. Good call. Casanova.
Are you captaining Holland? Probably. Who's captain?
Who are you guys captaining? I don't know.
I haven't actually free hit yet, so I don't have Holland right now.
You tell me who you're captaining first.
No, you.
No. I want to know who Luke's captaining.
I have no idea. I haven't looked, to be honest.
I mean, for me, it's going to be Holland, probably.
Yeah, I have it on Holland right now. That's just for the sake of everyone else is going to put it on Holland. I feel like I have to put it on Holland.
Yeah, there's no standout other player. Like Bruno Fernandes is a single game week, but it's Holland.
It's a
Well, then
defense
you guys are good.
mechanism,
I'll put it on
unfortunately.
somebody else. Both for the vibes of your guys' squads and just to be different because my rank's at 8 million.
Can you put it on Semenyo for us?
Sure.
Nice.
Works for me.
Appreciate you.
All right. I think that wraps things up. We will catch you guys next week for blank game week 34. See how that goes. Catch you guys.
Peace out.